I got tired of complicated and hard a few years ago. Not so long ago it seemed that my life got complicated, hard, and there was never enough time. In fact, I felt that I had been cheated. I was angry. Why? The doctor took away my cheese and my bread. What was I going to take wine tasting? To top it off, he took away my desserts too, big meanie. Okay, maybe I could have been more healthy, but a really good macaroni and cheese with a nice slice of apple pie topped with ice cream for dessert was not that big of a deal. Or was it? Do you know that millions of people have to eat gluten, sugar, dairy-free for numerous reasons? Medical conditions, food allergies, or an autoimmune disease, to name a few? You guessed it, I became one of them. Who would have thought that would have happened? I used to run a foodie group, and I had over 450 members. We used to dine out twice a month. There was always that one person, the one I thought was just a picky eater. I mean, why be in a foodie group if you're picky? Well, that's what I thought then. And then that picky eater became me. Not picky, just not able to eat gluten, sugar, or dairy. So now I was the one having to make adjustments. Did you know that over 50 million Americans suffer from autoimmune diseases? There are as many as 80 types of them. Autoimmune disease can affect almost any part of the body. Problems with your immune system cause it to mistake your body's own healthy cells as invaders and then repeatedly attacks them. Most people who suffer autoimmune disease find relief by eating a diet that's gluten, sugar, dairy-free because it helps lessen inflammation and promotes a healthy immune system. The same is suggested for people who've been diagnosed with cancer. Right now, there are around 14 million living Americans who've been diagnosed with cancer at one point in their life. People who suffer leaky gut, digestive disorders, or extremely overweight also benefit from eating gluten, sugar, dairy-free. I am Michelle DeBerge, and I am the founder of Gluten, Dairy, Sugar Free. I was very sick and having issues with my organs 3 years ago, and I had to change my diet to eliminate gluten, sugar, and dairy. In the process, I have lost almost 200 pounds. My organs are thriving, my digestive issues are gone, and my fatigue has lifted. In fact, it made such a huge difference I began to rewrite all of my recipes into gluten, sugar, dairy-free ones. See, I'm a huge foodie, and I did not want to stop my enjoyment of food just because I had to eliminate some items. As I started my journey, I found there were all kinds of information on the web and in talking to many wellness experts, but it was confusing. Nothing laid it out simple for me to understand. I struggled when I accidentally ate gluten, sugar, or dairy. I had no idea where the hidden toxins were or even how to fully understand them. You would be surprised at what I've discovered. For example, did you know there's actual milk products in mints or gluten in some dried herbs? With all of the hidden toxins, it's no wonder many of you may be surprised when all of a sudden you don't feel well, you're having symptoms, or that dinner you went out to eat made you sick. I know, it happened to me many times. The other challenge I faced was time. There never seems to be enough times to do the things I need to do, much less the things I want to do. So now I have to eliminate 70% of the food items in my house and still be able to quickly feed myself. Oh, and I want the food to be tasty too. Is that too much to ask? I've seen the pictures on Facebook that have someone ordering gluten-free food and they're given a glass of water. I have felt like that before. I sat next to a lady and her husband in a restaurant a few weeks back. She took one look at the menu and told her husband she could not eat there because it did not have a gluten-free menu. His face looked pained as he suggested they go somewhere else. She was visibly upset and frustrated, and she told him he did not understand what she was going through because she had celiac disease. I could tell this was a scene that often played out together. I did not want to sit next to a frustrated couple, and I had just finished my lunch. I tried to stay quiet. I really did. But if you really knew me, staying quiet's not my strong suit at all. I just can't seem to help myself. I leaned over and told her I was gluten, sugar, dairy-free, and that I had just enjoyed a feast. I asked her if I could make a few suggestions in the way she ordered her meal. She asked me if I had celiac, and I told her I did not, but that I understood. She asked me if gluten made me sick because it would make her very sick. She was adamant. I assured her I understood. I showed her what would be good food choices on the menu, and then I worked with her and the waiter to make sure everyone understood what was needed. I left her and her husband happily eating lunch when I left. The chef stopped me on the way out to thank me. He says they struggle when customer doesn't make it crystal clear to them what they actually need, and they really want to accommodate the customer. What if I told you that this is only one of the amazing GSDF powers I have? GSDF is short for gluten, sugar, dairy free, and it would be true. I have some awesome GSDF superpowers now. As I continued my journey over the past years, I rewrote my recipes, and they're used by hundreds of thousands of people around the world. I get emails thanking me for tasty, easy recipes that are safe and for the systems that make things easy. I got tired of complicated and hard a few years ago. With not enough time, I definitely do not have time for hard or complicated. I needed to make sure I took care of my body, and I had the time I needed. I teach tons of classes teaching people how to stay safe, dine out, food prep, conversions, and so much more. So I got the bright idea to do something even better. I decided to make a big splash and make it easy. Yes, easy. Now I'll tell you about that next time, because right now I can hear my timer going off in the kitchen, and it smells amazing. I'll be back soon to finish my story.